Thousands of years ago, the Marvel Universe was shaken to its core. A new breed of life form emerged. Not an alien, not an invader. He was born of this earth, yet destined to rise far above most of its inhabitants. He was a mutant. A mutant so ancient, so powerful, that entire civilizations rose and fell at his whim. To some, he's a god. To others, he is the father of all mutants. To everyone else, he is simply known as Apocalypse. This is the complete story of Marvel's first mutant. 5 millennia ago, in the harsh deserts of ancient Egypt, a child was born unlike any who had come before. His skin was grey, his lips were blue. His appearance frightened those around him. Believing the infant to be cursed, his own people abandoned him to die beneath the blazing desert sun of Egypt. Fate, however, had other plans. The child was discovered by a nomadic group known as the Sandstormers. Unlike everyone else, their leader, Baal, did not see a monster in this young child. Instead, he saw destiny. He named the child En Sabah Nur, meaning the first one. Baal raised the boy with one simple philosophy, the philosophy that had sustained his tribe for a great many years. Only the strongest deserve to survive. Those words would go on to shape not just the philosophy of the young En Sabah Nur, but in time they would ripple throughout the entire Marvel Universe. During this time, En Sabah Nur also encountered advanced alien technology left behind by the mysterious Celestials, beings of cosmic power. The ancient machines enhanced his already remarkable abilities far beyond natural limits. His body became virtually immortal. He could manipulate his own molecular structure down to the individual atom. He could grow to enormous size, heal from devastating injuries, generate powerful energy blasts, and even transform parts of his body into living, functioning weapons. He was no longer merely a mutant. En Sabah Nur became something far greater that day. From that day forward, the world would know him as Apocalypse. He soon ripped the Pharaoh from his throne, seizing authority over all of Egypt. And this was just the beginning of his grand plan. As En Sabah Nur grew older, his extraordinary mutant abilities developed. They were unlike anything the ancient world had ever witnessed before. His body adapted to almost any injury. He possessed incredible strength. His intelligence, centuries ahead of its time. Even before fully mastering his powers, he inspired fear wherever he travelled. Baal had taught him that compassion created weakness. Mercy delayed evolution. Civilizations flourished only when the strongest ruled. En Sabah Nur embraced these teachings completely. To him, the fight for survival was not cruel. It was simply natural. In the millennia that followed, Apocalypse appeared under countless different guises. Some civilizations saw him as a king. To others, he was a conqueror. Many worshipped him like a god. His overwhelming power allowed him to influence the rise and fall of empires across thousands of years and across almost the entire world. Kingdoms disappeared beneath his campaigns. Others surrendered without resistance. Yet Apocalypse had no interest in ruling over these domains permanently. Instead, he would test these civilizations. If they proved strong enough, they survived. If they failed, they were erased. It was all part of his grand plan. Vision for the future. Thousands of years in the making. In spite of his almost limitless power, Apocalypse rarely fought alone. On many occasions throughout his history, Apocalypse is accompanied in battle by his Four Horsemen. Inspired by the biblical book of Revelations, Apocalypse selected powerful followers to serve him as the living embodiments of war, famine, pestilence, and death. Throughout history, many different individuals have served these roles, some as willing volunteers, others were captured and transformed through Apocalypse's advanced technology and extreme mental capabilities. Their identities changed, their powers evolved to a new level, but their purpose always remained the same: to prepare the world for Apocalypse's grand vision of evolution. Apocalypse's campaign of conquest over the centuries was not merely about his own greater ambition though. He had an even higher goal: to prove himself worthy to the Celestials who had bestowed their technology upon him thousands of years earlier. These unimaginably powerful cosmic beings had experimented upon early humanity millions of years previously, seeding the future, leaving the DNA for what would eventually become mutants as we know them. Apocalypse believed that mutant kind represented the next stage of evolution. His mission was simple: prepare Earth for the Celestials' eventual return. Whether the billions on the planet survived that judgment was of no concern to him. For most of his remarkably long life thus far, Apocalypse has seldom faced a genuine challenge. And yet, one did eventually emerge. As the modern day dawned, the mutant population exploded. Among them emerged Charles Xavier, Magneto, and eventually the X-Men. For the first time in history, Apocalypse encountered opponents genuinely capable of resisting his vision for the future. To Professor Xavier, mutants and humans could and should work to build a peaceful future together. But to Apocalypse, peace represented stagnation. Only conflict produced strength. Only struggle would force progress. This ideological conflict between Xavier and Apocalypse has become just as important as the physical battles between this great, powerful being and the mighty X-Men. Indeed, though their rivalry with Magneto may be more personal in nature, you would argue that Apocalypse represents the strongest and most powerful opponent that the X-Men have ever faced, or may ever face in the future. Apocalypse possesses one of the most extraordinary collections of abilities in the Marvel Universe. He can reshape his body into almost any form imaginable, increase his size to gigantic proportions, manipulate energy, enhance other mutants. He can even transfer his consciousness into new bodies. So even when he appears defeated, he will inevitably return. Perhaps, though, Apocalypse's greatest weapon is time itself. After an era of conquest, Apocalypse often enters long periods of suspended animation. He would awaken centuries later to judge whether civilization had indeed grown stronger as he foretold. If it did not, then each awakening brought new wars, new tests to force humankind to evolve to his standards. But these also brought forth new heroes and new opponents to challenge the would-be ruler of all creation. Though he is often portrayed primarily as one of Marvel's greatest threats, modern stories have revealed Apocalypse to be a more complicated figure than we may have first thought. He genuinely believes that he is ensuring the survival of mutant kind. To him, weakness guarantees extinction. Strength guarantees the future. His methods are undeniably brutal. But from Apocalypse's point of view, he does not see himself as evil. He considers himself almost like a gardener on a planetary level, pruning weaknesses, cultivating strength, preparing mutants for challenges no one else can imagine. This twisted sense of purpose makes Apocalypse one of Marvel's most enduring and fascinating villains. Though his claim to be the first mutant on Earth is disputed by some, it is true that Apocalypse has existed longer than almost every other character in Marvel Comics. Empires have risen beneath him, religions have been built around him, yet his philosophy has remained unchanged for over 5,000 years. Only the strong survive. Whether battling the X-Men, confronting the Avengers, or manipulating entire civilizations from the shadows, Apocalypse represents one of Marvel's oldest and most enduring threats. He is not driven by greed, nor does he seek fame or crave wealth. He seeks evolution at any cost. And perhaps that is what makes him such a terrifying villain. Because unlike so many of the villains we look at, Apocalypse genuinely believes that, in time, history will prove that he was right all along. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of Apocalypse, be sure to subscribe to the Supervillain Codex for more origin stories, hidden lore, and complete histories of the greatest villains of popular culture. Until next time, everyone, remember, every villain has a story to tell.